These days are not special because of the calendar. They are special because pressure has accumulated. Pressure from neglected habits, pressure from delayed decisions, pressure from promises you made to yourself and quietly broke. When God says do or die, it is not a threat and it is not poetry. It is a mirror. These days expose who you really are, not who you imagine yourself to be, not who you talk about becoming, but who you have trained yourself to be through repetition. Life does not ask for your intentions. It only responds to your preparation. Most people live in a fantasy version of themselves. They believe they are disciplined because they think about discipline. They believe they are strong because they admire strength. They believe they are chosen because they feel emotional during motivational moments. But reality does not work that way. Reality is brutally honest. Under pressure, the truth comes out. When the alarm rings, when the body is tired, when the mind resists, when no one is watching, that is when your real identity speaks. These days will not ask you what you want. They will ask you what you have practiced. God is not testing your words. God is testing your structure. Your sleep routine, your diet, your focus, your reaction to discomfort, your relationship with pain, your ability to stay present when your mind begs for escape. If your foundation is weak, these days will feel unbearable. If your foundation is solid, these days will feel heavy but meaningful. That difference is everything. People misunderstand exposure. They think being exposed means being embarrassed in front of others. No. The most dangerous exposure is being exposed to yourself, seeing clearly that you are not who you claim to be, realizing that your confidence was borrowed from motivation, not built from discipline. These days rip away the noise. There is no hiding behind plans, affirmations, or excuses. The body reveals the truth. The breath reveals the truth. The way you respond to resistance reveals the truth. When pressure increases, excuses become louder. The mind becomes creative. It will remind you of your past effort. It will tell you that rest is deserved. It will negotiate. It will suggest shortcuts. But negotiation is a luxury for ordinary days. Critical days do not negotiate. They demand execution. This is why many fail, not because they are weak, but because they are undisciplined. Weakness can be trained. Lack of discipline cannot be hidden. In Shaolin philosophy, the body is not separate from the mind. A lazy body produces a noisy mind. A disciplined body creates a quiet, obedient mind. These days will reveal whether you have trained your body to listen or trained it to complain. When discomfort appears, do you immediately try to remove it, or do you observe it, breathe through it, and continue? That single response decides your path. God does not shout during these moments. There is no dramatic sign, no voice in the sky. Instead, there is silence. Silence while you choose. Silence while you decide whether to stand up or roll over. Silence while you decide whether to focus or scroll. Silence while you decide whether to endure or escape. That silence is not absence. That silence is respect. You are being treated as someone capable of choice. Many people pray for direction, but they avoid structure. They ask for blessings, but they reject discipline. They want clarity, but they live chaotically. These days expose that contradiction. You cannot ask for elevation while refusing the training required to hold it. Life does not reward desire. It rewards alignment. If you have trained yourself to be inconsistent, inconsistency will show up now. If you have trained yourself to delay, delay will dominate now. If you have trained yourself to quit when it gets uncomfortable, quitting will feel natural now. And that is the danger. Failure rarely feels dramatic. It feels reasonable. It feels justified. It feels like a logical decision in the moment. That is why so many lose without realizing it. These days are not cruel. They are honest. They compress time. They accelerate consequences. What would normally take months to reveal is revealed in hours. This is a gift, not a punishment. Exposure gives you truth, and truth gives you power. If you accept it, but acceptance requires humility. It requires admitting that discipline has been lacking. It requires letting go of the image you have been protecting. In Shaolin training, students are not judged by how they perform on easy days. They are observed during fatigue, during repetition, during boredom, during pain. That is when character shows. These days are like that. They are not asking you to be extraordinary. They are asking you to be exact. Exact with time. Exact with effort. exact with attention. If you feel pressure during these days, do not panic. Pressure means something is being refined. Coal only becomes diamond under pressure, but if coal complains, it remains coal. Pressure does not change you by itself. Your response to it does. You can resist and break, or you can stay present and transform. God is not interested in your comfort during these days. Comfort keeps you the same. God is interested in your capacity to endure, capacity to stay focused, capacity to act without emotional reward. That is maturity. That is strength. That is what separates those who rise quietly from those who stay stuck loudly. These days will also expose how you treat small actions. Do you cut corners when no one is watching? Do you justify half effort? Do you rush through tasks without presence? The small things are not small. They are training your nervous system. They are teaching your mind what level of effort is acceptable. When critical days arrive, the nervous system does not suddenly upgrade. It repeats what it knows. This is why preparation is not optional. You cannot fake discipline. You cannot borrow it. You cannot download it. It is built through boring repetition, through doing what is required even when it feels meaningless. These days reveal whether you respected that process or mocked it. If you feel exposed, good. That means you are seeing clearly. If you feel uncomfortable, good. That means you are standing at the edge of growth. But do not dramatize it. Do not complain about it. Simply observe and act. The Shaolin way is not emotional, it is precise. Breathe, adjust posture, continue. Remember this. God does not need to punish you. Your habits already do that. God does not need to reward you. Your discipline already does that. These days, simply speed up the feedback. They show you the result of how you have been living. If you stand firm during these days, you earn something rare: self-respect. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind that makes you walk slower, speak less, and tolerate nothing that weakens you. If you collapse, do not lie to yourself. Learn, but understand that repeated collapse builds identity. You become what you repeatedly choose. Exposure is not the end, it is the beginning. Once you see who you really are, you can train deliberately. But if you avoid exposure, you remain confused. Fes. Days are offering clarity. Take it seriously. When the days are over, you will not remember the pain clearly. Pain fades, but you will remember whether you stood or folded. That memory becomes your internal reference point. Next time life gets hard, that reference will either strengthen you or haunt you. This is why these days matter, not because of fear, not because of prophecy, but because they force honesty. And honesty is the doorway to transformation. Stand upright, breathe deep, move with intention. Let these days show you the truth, and then decide what kind of person you are willing to train yourself to become. Pain is not a mistake, it is not an interruption. It is not a sign that something has gone wrong. Pain is information. It is the body speaking honestly when the mind has been lying for too long. Most people misunderstand pain because they were taught to avoid it, escape it, numb it, or distract themselves from it. But avoidance does not remove pain. It delays it and multiplies it. When God allows pain to rise during critical days, it is not cruelty, it is communication. These days feel heavy because weight has been ignored. Emotional weight, physical weakness, mental clutter, unfinished commitments, suppressed responsibility. Pain appears when the system is overloaded. It does not come to destroy you, it comes to correct you. But correction requires attention, and attention requires stillness. Most people never listen long enough to understand what pain is saying. In disciplined traditions, pain is treated with respect, not worshipped, not feared, respected, because pain reveals limits, and limits reveal training needs. If your legs shake when you stand still, the body is telling you something. If your mind becomes restless during silence, the mind is confessing something. If discomfort makes you irritable, impatient, or dramatic, your nervous cyst. M is untrained. Pain exposes the exact location where growth is required. The problem is not pain, the problem is resistance to pain. Resistance wastes energy. Resistance turns discomfort into suffering. Two people can experience the same difficulty, and one becomes stronger while the other collapses. The difference is not strength. The difference is relationship. One observes pain and breathes. The other fights pain and panics. Fighting multiplies sensation. Observation transforms it. These critical days intensify pain because they demand presence. They remove escape routes. When you can no longer run, pain stands in front of you like a teacher. At that moment, you have a choice. You can label it as punishment, or you can receive it as instruction. Labeling closes the mind. Receiving opens it. Most people ask, why does this hurt? A disciplined mind asks, what is this refining? Pain refines posture. It corrects breathing. It sharpens awareness. It humbles ego. It burns excess. When you stop reacting emotionally, pain becomes precise. You can feel exactly where tension lives. You can feel which habits created it. You can feel how shallow breathing feeds anxiety. You begin to see patterns. God does not remove pain because pain removes illusion. Illusion makes people lazy. Illusion makes people arrogant. Pain brings honesty. It strips identity down to essentials. Under pain, titles disappear. Status disappears. Words disappear. Only breath, attention, and choice remain. That simplicity is powerful. Many people quit at the first sign of pain because they confuse discomfort with danger. But discomfort is not danger. It is adaptation. Muscles grow by tearing slightly. Bones strengthen by pressure. The nervous system matures through controlled stress. A life without discomfort produces fragility. A life that understands pain produces silence. These days, test your capacity to stay when it would be easier to leave, to continue when stopping feels justified, to breathe when the body wants to tense. This is not about heroism. It is about training response. The body must learn that discomfort does not equal threat. The mind must learn that sensation is temporary. When this learning happens, fear loses its power. In Shaolin practice, students are not told to ignore pain. They are taught to enter it calmly, to relax the unnecessary tension around it, to observe it without story. When story is removed, pain shrinks. Story turns sensation into suffering. Thoughts like, I can't, this is too much, this is unfair, inflate pain. Silence deflates it. Pain also exposes impatience. The modern mind wants immediate relief, immediate reward, immediate comfort. But transformation is slow, quiet, and repetitive. Pain teaches patience by force if patience is not learned voluntarily. These days will stretch time. Minutes will feel longer. Effort will feel heavier. That stretching is intentional. It trains endurance. If you escape pain every time it appears, you remain shallow. Your depth is measured by how much discomfort you can stay present with without losing clarity. This does not mean being reckless. It means being stable. Calm does not come from ease. Calm comes from familiarity with difficulty. Pain also humbles ambition. Many want greatness but refuse the discomfort that greatness requires. They want the result without the refinement. Pain corrects that arrogance. It reminds you that strength is earned, not declared. Every ache is a reminder of reality. During these days, pain will test your self-talk. What you say internally matters. Complaining weakens posture. Self-pity collapses breath. Quiet acceptance straightens the spine. When you change posture, pain changes shape. When you slow breathing, it softens. These are not motivational tricks. They are physiological truths. God uses pain because pain cannot be ignored. Comfort allows procrastination. Pain demands response. It brings you into the present moment forcefully. Presence is where power lives. A distracted person is weak. A present person is dangerous in the best way. Focused, grounded, unshakable. If you listen carefully, pain will teach you efficiency. It will show you where energy leaks, where movement is unnecessary, where tension is self-created. Over time, pain decreases not because life becomes easier, but because you become more skillful. You waste less effort resisting reality. These days are not meant to break you. They are meant to train your nervous system to remain calm under load. This skill transfers everywhere. Work, relationships, crisis. Once you can stay composed in discomfort, chaos loses authority over you. Pain also purifies intention. When things hurt, superficial motivations fall away. Only what truly matters remains. If your reason is weak, pain will expose it. If your reason is strong, pain will sharpen it. This is why some people grow quieter and stronger under pressure, while others become loud and unstable. Do not romanticize pain. Do not complain about it. Do not run from it. Simply meet it with awareness. Adjust what can be adjusted. Endure what must be endured. Learn what is being taught. This is the middle path. Neither indulgence nor self-destruction. When these days end, pain will recede. It always does. But what remains is capacity. You will know that you can stay present when things are uncomfortable. That knowledge changes how you walk through life. Fear loses credibility. Excuses sound hollow. Discipline feels natural. God does not want you comfortable. God wants you capable. Pain is the tool that builds capacity when used correctly. These days offer you the tool. Use it wisely. Stand still when it hurts. Breathe fully. Relax what is unnecessary. Continue what is required. Let pain pass through you without turning you into a victim or a hero. Just a disciplined human being, grounded in reality, moving forward with clarity. That is the lesson of pain. And that is why it is not the enemy. Most people fail not because life is too hard, but because they always leave themselves a way out. They keep doors open, they keep options alive, they keep comfort nearby, and because of that their effort is never total. When God says, do or die, it is a command to remove all alternatives. Not emotionally, not dramatically, but structurally. You do not rise when options exist. You hesitate, you negotiate, you delay. Commitment only becomes real when there is nowhere else to go. The mind is clever. If it knows there is a backup plan, it will aim for it subconsciously. If it knows rest is available, effort decreases. If it knows distraction is close, focus weakens. This is not weakness of character, it is how the nervous system works. Safety reduces intensity. Intensity is required for transformation. These critical days demand intensity, and intensity demands the removal of escape routes. Removing options does not mean harming yourself or becoming reckless. It means simplifying life so the correct action is the only action available. When there is only one path, the mind stops arguing. Energy that was wasted on decision-making returns to execution. This is why disciplined environments feel strict. They are not strict to control people. They are strict to free attention. Look closely at your daily life. How many small exits exist? The phone within reach, the extra hour in bed, the unnecessary conversation, the background noise, the habit of checking instead of doing. Each one seems harmless, but together they dilute commitment. These days expose that dilution. Half effort collapses under pressure. Only full presence survives. In Shaolin training, simplicity is not aesthetic, it is strategic. Simple food, simple clothing, simple schedule. Not because complexity is evil, but because complexity creates excuses. When your life is cluttered, your mind is cluttered. When your mind is cluttered, commitment fractures. These days are asking you to reduce, not add. Reduce noise, reduce stimulation, reduce indulgence. Reduction sharpens intention. Commitment is not a feeling. It is a decision repeated under discomfort. Many wait to feel committed. That is backward. Feeling follows action. These days require action without emotional confirmation. You wake up because it is time. You train because it is required. You focus because wandering is no longer allowed. This is not punishment, this is alignment. When options are removed, fear often appears. Fear is the mind realizing it can no longer escape. This is a good sign. Fear means the old identity is being cornered. If you stay present instead of panicking, fear transforms into clarity. The body stabilizes, the breath deepens, the moment becomes manageable. But if you reopen options to relieve fear, the cycle continues. Most people sabotage themselves at this stage. They feel the intensity and immediately soften the rules. They tell themselves they will be strict tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes never. Commitment postponed is commitment denied. These days do not allow postponement. They demand immediacy. Removing options also means removing internal excuses. The stories you tell yourself must be cut. I'm tired. I deserve this. Just this once. These are mental exits. They drain force. Discipline does not argue with such thoughts. It observes them and continues. Thoughts lose power when they are not obeyed. God respects seriousness. Seriousness is not seriousness of face, but seriousness of action. When you remove options, you signal readiness. Life responds differently to someone who has stopped negotiating with themselves. Opportunities appear, strength appears, not magically, but practically. Energy that was scattered becomes available. These days are not asking you to do more. They are asking you to do less, but with totality. One task at a time, one breath at a time, one decision honored completely. This is harder than multitasking because it removes distraction. But it is also where mastery begins. Commitment also requires boundaries. You cannot stay aligned while allowing everything access to you. These days demand selective isolation, not loneliness but protection. Protection of focus, protection of intention. Say less, explain less, preserve strength. When you fully commit, resistance will intensify at first. This is normal. Old habits fight for survival. The mind will exaggerate difficulty. The body will complain louder. Stay still. Do not interpret. Continue. After a threshold, resistance collapses. Effort becomes clean. Movement becomes efficient. This is the moment most never reach because they quit too early. Removing options creates a strange calm. Once the decision is final, anxiety drops. Anxiety thrives in indecision. Certainty stabilizes the nervous system. Even if the task is hard, the mind relaxes because it no longer needs to choose. It only needs to execute. God does not force you to commit. Freedom is respected, but freedom has consequences. A scattered life produces scattered results. A committed life produces depth. These days offer you a chance to choose depth. If you fully commit during these days, you will notice something subtle. Time slows, attention sharpens, you become less reactive, less needy, less desperate for validation. That is power returning. Power wasted on indecision is reclaimed through commitment. Do not romanticize commitment. It is quiet, it is repetitive, it is often boring. But boredom endured builds authority over self. Authority over self is the highest form of control. At the end of these days, the reward is not applause, it is trust in yourself. Knowing that when things become critical, you do not collapse into negotiation, you act. That trust changes everything. Remove the exits, simplify the path, commit fully. Let there be no second option in your mind. When there is only one direction, movement becomes inevitable. Itatable. This is what do or die truly means, not destruction. Total alignment. When these days end, something will be different, whether you notice it or not. Time does not pass without leaving a mark. Critical days carve identity. They shape posture, breath, and belief in ways that ordinary days never do. Most people return to life unchanged because they avoided full engagement. But those who stay present, who endure without dramatizing, who act without negotiation, do not return the same. They cross an invisible line. Transformation is rarely loud. There is no announcement, no celebration, no immediate reward. Instead, there is a quiet internal shift. You wake up and realize you trust yourself more, not because you feel confident, but because you have evidence. Evidence built through action under pressure. This kind of trust cannot be faked or borrowed. It is earned. And once earned, it changes how you move through the world. Surviving these days does not mean merely lasting until they end. It means meeting each moment with integrity. Integrity is not moral perfection. It is alignment between decision and action. When you say you will do something and you do it, even when uncomfortable, integrity grows. These days offer many opportunities to break integrity. Small ones, quiet ones, skipping effort, cutting corners, choosing ease. Each time you resist those temptations, something strengthens inside. After such days, excuses sound different. They lose authority. You hear them, but you no longer believe them. The voice that once said, "I can't," now sounds unfamiliar. Not because life became easier, but because you proved that discomfort does not control you. That proof becomes a reference point stored deep in the nervous system. In future challenges, your body remembers. Calm arrives faster. Panic weakens. People often expect transformation to look like motivation, energy, enthusiasm. That is misunderstanding. True transformation looks like simplicity. You need less stimulation, less reassurance, less validation. You become selective, Your tolerance for chaos decreases. You are no longer impressed by intensity without discipline. This is maturity. There is also loss. Not everything survives transformation. Certain habits fall away naturally. Certain conversations no longer interest you. Certain environments feel heavy. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. When your internal order increases, disorder becomes uncomfortable. You are not rejecting life. You are refusing unnecessary noise. God does not reward endurance with comfort. God rewards it with capacity. Capacity to carry responsibility. Capacity to remain calm when others panic. Capacity to act decisively without emotional drama. This capacity attracts opportunity quietly. People trust those who are stable. Life entrusts more to those who have proven they can hold weight. After these days, your relationship with time changes. You respect it more, you waste less of it, not because you are anxious, but because you understand cost. You felt the weight of each hour. You know how quickly opportunity can slip when attention is scattered. That awareness sharpens intention. You may notice that you speak less about your plans. This is natural. Talking leaks energy. You prefer execution. Results speak clearly. Silence preserves strength. This is not secrecy, it is efficiency. The need to announce disappears when inner certainty is present. The most important change happens internally. Identity shifts from someone trying to someone who acts. This is subtle but profound. Trying still leaves room for retreat. Acting does not. When identity changes, behavior follows automatically. Discipline stops feeling forced. It becomes normal. These days also teach humility. You realize how much effort is required to stay aligned. You stop judging others quickly. You understand struggle differently. This humility grounds strength so it does not become ego. Strength without humility is brittle. Humility keeps strength flexible. Not everyone will understand your change. Some will feel uncomfortable around your calm. Some will test your boundaries. This is not personal. Your presence reflects their chaos. Maintain respect, maintain silence, let consistency do the talking. If you fail during these days, do not despair. Failure honestly observed is also transformation. But do not romanticize it. Learn precisely where discipline broke. Repair that point. Identity is built through repeated correction, not perfection. However, do not lie to yourself about effort. Self-deception delays growth. When these days are over, do not rush to reward yourself with indulgence. This weakens the lesson. Transition slowly. Maintain structure. Let the nervous system integrate what it has learned. Strength solidifies during recovery, not celebration. Remember, life will bring more critical days. They always come. But the first time you face them consciously, everything changes. Fear loses novelty. Pressure becomes familiar. You no longer ask, why is this happening? You ask, what is required now? Not dominance over others. Dominance over reaction. This is the highest form of freedom. You are no longer controlled by comfort, fear, or impulse. You respond deliberately. God does not announce this transformation. There is no sign, but internally you know. And that knowing cannot be taken away. It becomes a foundation. From that foundation you build deliberately. Stand firm until the end of these days, not with aggression, with steadiness. Let effort be clean. Let breath be deep. Let action be exact. When the days pass, do not look back emotionally. Look forward practically. You crossed the line. Now live as someone who has. After decisive days pass, the greatest danger is not weakness, it is forgetfulness. The body remembers intensity for a short time, but the mind quickly tries to return to comfort. This is where many lose what they earned. They believe surviving the critical days was the victory. It was not. It was permission. Permission to live differently, but only if the lessons are carried forward with precision. Power gained without structure leaks. Strength without routine dissolves. These days may forge you, but what you do afterward determines whether the forging holds. God does not carry you forward. God steps back and watches what you build with what you were given. This is where maturity begins. After such days, discipline must become boring, ordinary, non-negotiable. If you chase intensity again, you miss the point. Intensity is a tool, not a lifestyle. What remains is consistency. Waking when it is time, not when it feels right. Doing what is required without needing pressure. This is harder than crisis discipline because there is no urgency to push you. Only character remains. Many people secretly want another emergency because it gives them direction. That is dependence. True strength is self-directed. You no longer need fear to move you. You move because alignment has become normal. This is quiet power. You will feel temptation to reward yourself excessively, to relax rules, to reintroduce distractions. Be careful. Small indulgences undo large efforts when repeated. Discipline is not destroyed dramatically. It erodes politely, slowly. Comfort whispers, not shouts. Stay alert. The correct posture after critical days is grounded humility, not pride, not celebration, just steadiness. Maintain the habits that kept you upright. Protect mornings, protect sleep, protect silence. These are not luxuries, they are infrastructure. Without them, strength collapses under normal life pressure. God does not test constantly, life does. Ordinary days test consistency more than emergencies ever could. Anyone can be disciplined for 3 days under pressure. Few can be disciplined for 30 days without applause. That is where identity solidifies. You may notice impatience with others. Do not act on it. Your path is not theirs. Strength does not need comparison. It needs maintenance. Stay respectful, stay reserved. Let your actions speak without explanation. Also understand this. Growth isolates at first, not because you are better, but because you are less reactive, less available for nonsense. This can feel lonely. Do not fill the space with noise. Loneliness is often just unused strength. The fifth lesson is integration. Integrate effort into life. Integrate calm into chaos. Integrate discipline into freedom. This is mastery. You are no longer switching modes between struggle and rest. You are simply aligned. If you carry this forward correctly, future crises will feel smaller, not because they are easier, but because you are heavier. Weight does not move easily. Depth does not panic. This is what God ultimately prepares you for, not survival of days, but responsibility over life. Do not wait for another sign. Do not wait for another message. You have already been told enough. The rest is execution. Live quietly, train daily, speak little, observe much. Let the world reveal who you have become.